Welcome to Hong Kong Trade Development Council Prevent, Detect, Monitor COVID-19 Hong Kong Technology Solutions virtual meeting. I'm Shirley Ng, Director of Thailand and South Asia of HKTDC. I'm your moderator for today. Strengths in technology and innovations have helped Hong Kong successfully contain the COVID-19 outbreak and cope with its related impact. This was possible because of Hong Kong's excellent research capabilities. Equally important, these research results can readily be turned into marketable commercial solutions, thanks to an ecosystem of abundant capital, an international talent pool, excellent intellectual property protection, and trading platforms. Many Hong Kong companies in health tech, medtech, biotech, and related fields are ready to provide their commercial available technology to countries that are looking for these tech products and services. As we can see, many organizations around the world are now looking for the solutions that can help us adapt to the new normal environment under the COVID-19. We are happy to help you meet some potential solution providers from Hong Kong and facilitate the business matching for you. In the virtual meeting this afternoon, we will introduce to you 17 top technology companies from Hong Kong. This company can help you combat the COVID-19 in 3 essential steps: prevent, detect, and prevent. We will start with the prevent section. Prevention is the first step in combating any disease. In this section, you will get to know 7 companies with innovations that can help prevent the spread of COVID-19. I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Hong from Chai Hua Industry. Can you tell us more about your antimicrobial coating technology, please?
Sure. Thanks, Shirley. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Sawadee. I would like to introduce our long-term antimicrobial disinfectant strategy. Dramatic is a combination of a technology that has been co-developed by Chai Hua Industry Limited and Hong Kong University of Science Technology for the past 17 years. It's a combination and is a result of fantastic development between 40 scholars, professors, and postgraduate students from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. And in terms of the technology itself, the most important thing is that it can inactivate the 2019 SARS-CoV-2. We have done several testing reports since 3 years ago, and the most noticeable one is we have done testing in the European lab in Australia 2 years ago, which tests we are very good against the gold standard, which is the Valencia calicious virus. And this is solid proof that this is a very important technology that we can combat the COVID-19. And Chai Hua Industry has been in the Hong Kong for 92 years, specializing in a lot of different production like steel manufacturing, home appliances development, and the last 20 years working closely with the Hong Kong UST in developing various of technology in the home environment. And the team consists of two important scholars, Mr. Kinglan Yang, Professor Mr. Kinglan Yang from Hong Kong University, and Mr. Professor Guan, Mr. Dr. Joseph Guan, which they are 2 co-inventors, very pivotal in developing this technology. And the first introduction I want to introduce about the PECD technology, which is a polymer encapsulated chlorine dioxide technology that has been using for the last 10 years as a coating on the HEPA filter and other filtration media. And this technology recently has been used in the Ho Shan Shan Hospital in combination with the air purifier in terms to kill the COVID-19 in the Ho Shan Shan Hospital in coordination with Dr. Chong Nam San of the Guangzhou Institute of Respiratory Disease. And in terms of the last 6 months, he has been massively deployed in Hong Kong in combination using in a lot of air filtration and air conditioning unit in order to help Hong Kong to combat against the COVID-19 as well. And the second technology we want to go through is the MAP1, which stands for multi-antimicrobial polymer, first, which is a combination that can be used as a spray and a coating hand sanitizer, and in the future paint and also the laundry products. And in terms of the duration, 22 hours, 72 hours, 30 days, and 90-day version are available in terms of the disinfectant capability. And in next year, first quarter, we'll be having another third generation of the 3 to 5 years antiviral coating. And this technology also has been widely accepted. And the recent World Economic Forum, Dr. Shi, president of Hong Kong University, has been presenting both technology in front of the World Economic Forum. And in terms of technology itself, is a polymer encapsulate which enclose the thyme oil inside. And in combination, this will have the double kill capacity, which first by physically puncture of the virus and the bacteria, and the second release of the thyme oil to perform the double kill capability. And in the last 3 months, we have been deploying the spray coating of the 90 days version in over 500 schools, 600 elderly homes, 4 universities in Hong Kong. And recently, we also covering over 12,000 restaurants, supported by China Light and Power Initiative program. And this photo is also showing all types of retail versions that are available right now in supermarket, general merchandising stores, and cosmetic store in Hong Kong. And also we have having the green label showing that our product is eco-friendly, as well as this is 100% made in Hong Kong product with all the certificate and the factory inspection that we have done. And thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to present this technology, and looking forward in the Q&A session to understand more your need and fulfill all your requirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hong. I'd like to remind that we will have a combined Q&A section after our presentation. So please feel free to write down your question anytime in the Q&A box and specify the company you would like to ask. So next, I would like to introduce Mr. Choi from China Tech Global Holdings Limited. Mr. Choi, I'll pass the time to you to tell us more about your intelligent disinfectant corridor.
Thank you. Hi all. My company started in 2014. I'm one of the sanitizing pioneer industry in Hong Kong. We are provide all-round sanitizing solutions, from shoes, hands, hair, clothing, belongings, okay, covered by our antimicrobial technology, air sanitizing spray, and of course the first sanitizing chamber in the world by a negative pressure technology is now widely used in Hong Kong International Airport and AWE, and of course the Correctional Service Department. Let me have a quick for that. We have a partner with SenseTime. They will come up to present in the next section. For that thermal, very accurate thermal, before you enter to the chamber, you need to get the temperature pass. And then inside the chamber is a mobile negative pressure room, which is with a hyper filter to suction all the virus and bacteria after the air blown to your body and belongings to you carry into the chamber. And inside the chamber, we have the AI shield. It's an antimicrobial by Dow Chemical. The base is invented in 40 years ago. And then we reformulated in Singapore to add on photocatalyst function. So as a matter of fact, this is a 100% sanitized by physics. And I can tell you that along the 6 years experience in the industry, the new trend for the sanitizing demand will be looking into the physics solutions, not for the traditional one, because it can cover all the regions, all the countries all over the world. When you try to import a sanitizing product, you have to fulfill the local certification, safety measurement, not only for the killing effectiveness, but most importantly is the safety measurement. So it's a new trend, there's no doubt, all over the world. I'm working with 25 airports all over the world. Some of referred by TDC, thank you for them, the team in Australia and Auckland Airport, Middle East, Southeast Asia, Paris, England, okay, all over the way, Italy. So most of their demands is looking for the solutions by physics. So, but when we talk about airborne, it's not easy for the physics solutions to deal with. So because the aircon system, it's not only we deal with COVID-19, but when you look into the death figures in Hong Kong for the every winter, our death numbers is over 350 by only the flu H3N2. Okay, so my preliminary product is BioM, is natural ingredients. It can kill SARS, it can kill H1N1, and it can kill H3N2, and it's now widely used by all the developers, not only for the spray, it's only used in the central aircon system as well. So this is, you can search, all gentlemen and ladies, you can search the clean tech in the YouTube, and you can see a 59 seconds cartoon to see how it works. So I won't spend time on this here. Further development, we are working with all the airports with a tunnel. As you see the chambers, you have to stay for at least 12 seconds to 40 seconds. So now we have a new technology together with SenseTime to have checking whether the height is an adult or a child walking through the tunnel, and the speed of their pace, okay, and to give a signal for the spray and the waters to make it efficient. And the other thing is for the, when you walk into the distance one by one, the one walk behind will maybe have concerns whether it's got some bacterial virus or even some bad air gas, okay, come facing to me. So we have what we call, we have a new technology, what we need, we name it, is a Songling negative pressure technology. So it's no need for doors in between on the entrance and the living areas. No doors is needed. And the other project, we are working for two major developers in Hong Kong, is in residential and commercial buildings. We work for the entrance with a negative pressure and the lobby with a positive pressure. So the time is limited. That's for all I can share with you. Please contact me further, okay, through the information I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, I would like to pass the time to our next speaker, Ms. Charlene Wong of Focus and Comb Far East Limited. Ms. Wong, you will share with us about your all-in-one air filtration solutions. Over to you.
Sawadee ka. Have all of you ever heard nanofiber? How about X membrane? A thin layer lying between hard eggshell and the egg white. That is nanofiber in nature. It is very breathable, allows air to pass, and acts as a barrier to stop bacteria and viruses entering into the embryo. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, Hong Kong has been suffering from all kinds of protective material shortage. Supply and quality are no guarantee in spite of crazily high prices. In such anxiety, we took a long shot. In 5 weeks, we formulated a new recipe for mass application with our production scale equipment. We passed PFE, BFE, and Delta P in one go. We successfully supplied nano filters for Dr. K. Kong's Hong Kong's mask. We also supply and transfer technical support to Vita Green Health product to make more masks. Thousands and thousands of nanofilters and nanomask material have been made. We are happy to see people around us hanging there healthily. We will be happier to do the same, to benefit more people, more country. Yes, there are people don't like wearing masks or not able to wear masks. Actually, especially when you're staying indoor, actually multi-H was engineered as a HEPA-grade material. It is a very high efficiency HEPA material that can catch 0.3 micron at 99.97% and kill bacteria simultaneously. To simulate the airflow rate, we modified the formulation to create home series in order to turn air conditioner dehumidifier into air purifier instantly. How to use? Very easy. It can be cut to fit any size. Put it on top of the pre-filter that you can find inside an air conditioner. It catches viruses, bacteria, and kills them once they got in touch with multi-H nanofibers. So all you are left with fresh and clean air. We also have multi-HF series to handle large air volume for vents outlets. It is also made of nanofibers, combined with stiffer material, which is suitable in commercial use such as schools, spa, restaurants, elderly center, and hotels. Finally, our highlight product, multi-HEPA. Very high efficiency air filter that does not need any multiple filter or UV system to kill bacteria or trapped on the filter. Imagine HVAC system operates without UV light system. Save hassle on repairing UV light. Ozone is no longer generated. Goodbye to ozone sensor. The pipeline can be shorter. The maintenance becomes easier. Filter is disposable when job is done. Thanks to the antibacterial nanofibers, multi-H air filter can prevent second contamination due to improper disposal. Multi-H is taking a revolutionary step in making clean air more easily accessible. It is available in roll forms and cartridge filters to meet all your needs. My name is Charlene, Director of Focus.
Thank you, Ms. Wong. Coming up next is Kashui Technology. I would like to invite Mr. Carson Jiang to share with us their germ-repellent plastic material and germ-repellent mask case. Over to you, Mr. Jiang.
Hello, everyone. First, welcome everyone to join this virtual conference. I would like to introduce the microfans, our biocide and germ-repellent technology, plastic technology to everyone. Yes, I want to share about the technology background about the microfans. Microfans germ-repellent plastic technology is repelling plastic instead of killing them. The germ-repellent plastic is developed and manufactured by the plastic technology company called Kashui Plastic Technology, which is a listed company from Kashui Group. So the technology gained the international awards from Geneva 2017. In 2018, we have the US patent granted. 2019, we have stipulated the first germ repellent standard for the China Guangdong Plastic Association, GDPIA. 2019, we almost got the ASTM WK66122 working standard number to test the germ repellent technology. So we want to share about the technology platform to everyone. So for the former speakers, they are focusing on the antibacterial, which is a salt. So microfans is a shield. Instead of killing them, we provide a very harsh substrate, plastic surface, for the germs to stay on. So in the table, you will see our germ repellent plastic technology will be different from what we are commonly adopted by the antibacterial approaches. We do not have heavy metals. We do not have nanosilver. We do not create toxicities. We don't use coatings. So we focus on the plastic substrate part to make the germ very hard to stay on. In the video, you will see there is a ultimate technology for the germ repellent plastics. We can repel 99% of the germs, gram-positive bacteria, gram-negative bacteria. So microfans is a very safe material to use. It brings no drug resistance. It incurs no superbugs. It's non-leaching. Most important part, it will not leave it to your body, skins, or mouth. We have been developed a lot of plastic types, including PE, PP, ABS, TPV, TPU, SEBS, PLA. Our plastics is widely adopted by many different manufacturing processes. We have our cell laboratory, testing, manufacturing equipment in-house, manufacturing in Hong Kong, most importantly. So we have an international partner to make a lot of germ repellent products like cutting board, teether, training spoons, feeder. Most of the products are in touch with body. It's food grade, FDA approved. In viewing of the pandemics, we even make our plastic material on some preventive measure tools like mask storage case, reusable surface masks, and some protective film. So our benefits of the product lines can apply to medical products, food and beverage, kitchenwares, healthcare, infant child, toy and education, and 3C technology products. If you want to know more about the microfans, please go to our website, www.microfans.com. It will give you a multi-language technology platform to look at it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Jiang. Our next speaker is Rise Robotics. I would like to introduce Mr. Victor Lee to tell us more about their autonomous indoor delivery robot. Mr. Lee, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. So we are Rise Robotics. We build smart autonomous robots for urban area. So our company started in 2019 in the Chinese University of Hong Kong with just an idea. And right now we already have around 16 units deployed in Hong Kong and Japan. Since our first product launch in 4 months ago, with a team of 8 engineers from CHK and UST, our robots are fully developed and designed in Hong Kong. So our robots are 100% made in Hong Kong product. Our company currently have 3 products: the autonomous delivery robots, Rise, and in the middle is the autonomous disinfection robot, Jasmine, and on the right here we have a centralized fleet management platform for robotics product. But today we're going to focus on the first 2. So within 14 months, our delivery robot Rise is a world first service robot integrated with elevator API protocol, able to operate with elevators and turnstile system at the same time, we co-developed the API protocol with Jardine Schindler Elevator together. And in the middle, we have 5 patents granted in China and Hong Kong so far. It's about the mechanical design. And on the right here, our robots have completed over 20,000 autonomous delivery with no human intervention in the first launch in February. So why do you need a robot? Say hotel as an example. Our robot only costs 1/3 of a front desk staff, and the robot won't take any leave, no MPF, and able to work 24/7. Second, the COVID-19 has long-lasting change to human behavior, especially in the time right now. People won't stop using robot even after the pandemic. So here, this is how we use the robot. So in commercial buildings, usually there's a coffee shop in the ground floor. So our robot will station in the ground floor in the concierge area, and the robot will be able to go pick up anything in the ground floor and send up to the recipient upstairs. And after the mission, the robot will go back down to the charging dock for to charging and wait for the next mission. So here in Hong Kong, we already deployed our robots, our delivery robots, in 2 hotels, in Lotte, Island South, and Dorset Hotel in Hong Kong. So we have already deployed 4 hotels in these hotels right now for contactless deliveries. And second, we have the Jasmine, the air disinfection robot. The use case is pretty simple as well. So you set a route and timer, and the robot will go to the designated area and start vaporizing. And Jasmine, she has a 10-liter water tank inside. So with 10 liters, you can now start vaporizing for almost 10 hours. And after the mission, Jasmine will travel back to the charging station and wait for the next mission. So for Jasmine, the autonomous contactless disinfection, we already deployed in 2 locations in Hong Kong. The first one is Skyline Tower in Kowloon Bay, and the second one is Hong Kong Science Park. So our technology is pretty simple. We use visual-based technology for navigation, so it's like the Tesla autopilot. And what's good about visual-based is that it doesn't require sensors or beacon to be set up on site in order to get the robot to localize accurately. And on top of that, a lot of service robots in China are using non-visual technology, and what that means is that when the site has changes, for example, the robot plans changes, the furniture moved, the technician will need to recalibrate the robots again. But ours doesn't need to do that, and the robot will work fine even there are changes on the floor plan. And the last one is obstacle avoidance. Our robots are able to avoid any kind of moving objects and roadblocks in any dynamic environment. Oops, stop. All right. So we have a lot of use cases in Hong Kong, but since time is limited, so I'm going to skip this slide and go to the Q&A when you guys have any questions about that. So we've distributed from Hong Kong and Japan. So SoftBank Robotic and Ashtec from SoftBank, they are distributed in Japan. In Hong Kong, we're working with HKT. And for elevator partners, we are working with 6 of them in Hong Kong: Schindler, Toshiba, Otis, and Fujitec. And our robot charges $8,000 Hong Kong per month. So it's a monthly subscription-based robots. Oh, yeah. So since time is limited, so we'll go to the Q&A section if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. So our next speaker is from Time Medical Systems. I would like to invite Mr. Alex Leung to tell us more about the intelligent sterilization robot. I'll pass the time to you, Mr. Leung.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, everybody. Hello. First of all, I would like to thank you, take the opportunity to thank you, HKTDC, to give us this opportunity to present our intelligent sterilization robot. So this intelligent sterilization robot, we call it the ISR. It is the first robot that has combined 3 disinfection features. The first one is the vaporization nozzle, which can spray the disinfectant. And the second one is the UVC lights that can also kill the bacteria and virus. And then we also have the HEPA filter, which including the plasma generator that we can kill the bacteria when it's trapped inside. When we are saying about robot, of course, it can walk autonomously, and also it has the obstacle detection and obstacle avoidance technology. When you see this comparison, that actually we are the first and only robot that has the spray mode, the UVC mode, and the air filtration module, that we can cover all kinds of disinfection technologies. Actually, right now we have already deployed our robots into different areas, like the Hong Kong International Airport, in the prisons, in the quarantine facilities, in hospitals, in office, and also in the hospitals. Actually, we have used that in the operating theater, isolation ward, laboratory, pathology department, ICU. Is widely acceptable by our customers. And in terms of other applications, actually we can also make use of this robot into schools, library, cruise terminal, hotels, and all other places where we have the crowds gathering, that we can try to avoid the infection among different people. Actually, the concept of this robot is when we deploy the robot into the airport, they will use it in the bathrooms. The point is, when we go back to the cruise infections in Diamond Princess in Japan, there were a lot of infection cases, and Hong Kong government sent few chartered flights from Japan to Hong Kong, and the airports called us to see what we can help with our robot. And then of course we went there on the second day, and we did a lot of preparation work and introduced the robot and present them. The main feature and the key points is we can send the robot inside the bathrooms before the cleaners to went in to clean the toilets. In that case, we can minimize the contamination and infection risk of the cleaners and the airport staff. And luckily, of course, we also performed a third-party laboratory testing, that we can prove the ISR can kill and reach 93 to 99.9999% of disinfection efficiency. We also deploy the robots in the Baptist Hospital, Asia World Expo, which is currently a quarantine facilities in a prison in Hong Kong as well. And these are some of the testing results obtained by the third-party lab, that we did air sampling, swab test, and bacterial killing efficiency. In airport, the request is only 90% of efficiency, and in hospital, we can actually, in the hospital environment, we can achieve over 99.9999%. And we have the CE certificate, RAW certificate, and we got the Australian TGA certificate as well. And a lot of people will ask if UVC can kill bacteria or COVID-19 virus. Yes. In end of March, International Ultraviolet Association already published an article mentioning that UVC lights can kill COVID-19 virus.
Thank you, Mr. Leung. So our last speaker for this section is Titanology. I will pass the time to Mr. Mark to tell us more about their self-sanitizing product. Mr. Mark, please.
Thank you. In this afternoon, I would like to introduce a very novel technology by Titanology, which is a new way of disinfection. That use photocatalysis, and this invention received several prestigious awards. Since then, the students formed their own companies, and then we built our products. And the interesting awards includes the Geneva's Invention Award, and also the Escalator Challenge, and recently the Dyson Award, which awards to products of engineering excellence. What's special about this technology is that instead of having a natural sunlight or external lighting, we use total internal reflection to direct the UV light to where the bacteria are, normally the handles or whatever surface that you want to kill the bacteria. Because of this, there is no way that you can block the UV light, and it's like you always have strong sunlight on. So it's always effective, regardless of the condition. So here's how we kill the germs. Either we have external sunlight, or we use our built-in UV lights to kill the germs, which is far more effective because using our own artificial lights, we can have a very strong lighting, just like the sunlight. So whether it's daytime or nighttime, it's always effective. So this is what we call the photocatalysis, and we use the very basic titanium dioxide, which is a non-toxic white material. The interesting part is the chemistry, the structure that makes it photocatalysis. And our advantage of technology is because we use this non-toxic material, but through the use of UVA light, we activate the material to kill the germs. So normally it's safe, but in combination with the UV light that we direct to the material, it works. Also, our way of including this coating on the material is different. We use a very high temperature process, and then we form a very continuous structure of we call the metal porous structure. Basically, you have all the surface coated with this material, which is a nanostructure, but it's unlike a skated nanomaterial because it is a continuous structure, so it bonds to the glass rock very securely. This structure is based on a patent by Professor Yu of CUHK, and also our patents of using total internal reflection to do the disinfection. So we have several tests to justify that the killing of bacteria and also the non-toxic structure, as well as very minimal drop-off upon wipe test, and also strength of the glass structure. So you can see within minutes, our structure with the UV light internally generated can kill the bacteria almost completely. As said, the material, the titanium oxide, is a very common white powder that's already used widely, and there's no known toxic or unhealthy issues with this material. So it's the intelligent use of this material that makes it effective in our products. And we welcome any ideas from you to let us know where you want to have the disinfection, and then we can decide, customize the products for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. So that's the end of our first session presentation. We now have a few minutes for the Q&A section before we move on to the next section. So may I encourage our audience to write down your question anytime in the question box in the Zoom. We will try to address as many questions as possible. If you'd like to get to know more about our companies, we will also arrange a survey which will pop up after the meeting. So we'll follow up on your request. So our speakers are ready. I got the first question for Rise Robotics. Rise Robotics,
Yes.
our audience would like to know the Rise delivery robot. do they need to set the waypoint for each office or floor in case of the same building delivery? And they would like to know what's the capacity of the robot in addition to the coffee cups. Can it be applied to other products?
Yep. So to answer the first question, the first we deploy the robot, we will need to send our technician to the location and conduct what we call a mapping, calibration, on-site calibration. And after that, when the robot collects the map on the server, we will need to set all the waypoints on the map. And in order to let the robots go which way is which location, which room is which room, something like that. And to the second question, yes, we can modify the trunk, the cabinet. So you see in the presentation, the trunk inside we have a cup holder, a coffee tray. We can remove that, and inside it's around 30 plus 30 cm to 40 cm wide dimension capacity. So you can basically load a lot of things inside. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next question is also about the robotic solutions. This question is for Thai medical system. Our audience would like to know, can the sterilization robot be able to work on different surfaces like stairs or slopes, etc.?
Okay, thank you for the questions. Our ISR can move up to a ramp up to 12 degrees, but unfortunately it really cannot walk on the stairs. Yeah, but it can walk through all those tactile pavings for the blind people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I got one question for Chai Hua Industry. Our audience would like to know, many companies are now using the special coating technology to kill germs or prevent germs from sticking onto the surface. How will the Thailand climate affect the effectiveness of these coatings? Anything they have to be aware of?
First of all, based on the clinical tests that we have done last 2 years in the Kowloon Hospital, the coating itself is very heat resistant. The test we have done is up to 100 to 120 degrees Celsius. So in terms of Thailand climate, I don't see any challenge of applying the coating despite the heat and the humidity of the Thailand temperature.
Thank you. So I got another question also asking about the germ killing function. Perhaps I can pass the question to Cashew Technology. The audience would like to know, any maintenance is needed to keep the function at the optimal level?
Hello. So our germ repellent plastic technology is permanent. All the changes has been made inside the plastic physical structure. So there is no chemical additive. It will be forever functional. Even the plastic surface is damaged, it is functional, and the germ repellent functions will not be deteriorate over time.
Thank you. So it seems like I got some question about the robots as well. Our audience seems they are interested to know that robots are definitely part of the future. So they would like to see how we feel that the future of robots will be used in our everyday life. Perhaps I can ask Rise Robotics to share with us.
Yeah, sure. So what we believe first and foremost in the future, robots must operate safely and to provide the most efficient service to a human, and they must move safely and efficiently even in a complex space and of daily transaction and habitual with a lot of people and obstacle. And also we believe people people sharing the same space with robots should feel comfortable with robots. So in the future, the mobility of the mobile robot is very important. So this is what we are working on to improve our product quality. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we have to end the discussion here in view of time in order to allow time for the remaining section. So if you have any other question for our speakers, please remember to fill in the survey and indicate your interest, and we will follow up on your request. So thank you very much for our speakers for this panel.
Thank you.
So when we are preparing for the next section, I would just to take this chance to highlight a little bit about our purpose of the virtual meeting today. The COVID-19 pandemic has significantly impacted on the global development. Almost 90% of the world economy has been under some sort of lockdown, disrupting the supply chains and the international trade. However, the pandemic can also underline the importance of the regional cooperation on trade links, supply chain, capital flow, technology application, in particular on adopting the new normal lifestyle. Hence, today we have a speaker representing the technology solutions, an audience coming from different business sectors. We trust this virtual meeting can serve as a good platform to share experience and promote Hong Kong's unique strengths in technology. So, follow up next is our detect section. Effective detection and accurate screening of potential cases can keep everyone safe. In this section, you will meet 5 companies with top-notch products that for body temperature and measurement systems. Each company again will share with us their products for 5 minutes, and after that we will have a combined Q&A section. Please remember to write down your question in the Q&A box. So now I would like to invite our first speaker from Insight Robotics, Mr. William Tao, to tell us more about your AI assist body temperature screening system. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm William of Insight Robotics. Today I would like to introduce our company's product body temperature screening system to you. For Insight Robotics, so we are 100% Hong Kong-based company. So our company started our business back to 2019. And we are focusing on the thermal and visual-based computer vision and AI analytic technology and product solution development. So for today's topic, COVID-19, I think all of us know the current pandemic situations. So in this moment, the most important is to reduce the cross-infection possibility. So in order to do so, one way is to try to identify and detect those who show the syndrome of fever or high temperature. So in order to do so, there's 2 methods. One is to use a handheld thermal sensing device to measure the front head of the human body. However, making use of this technique is so labor intensive and it is time consuming. It may not be able to be used for the scenario and facilities which has high people traffic. So another method is to use an infrared-based temperature screening system. And however, for most of this type of product, they may not be able to simultaneously measure the temperatures of multiple targets. And what's more, for this type of product, they always suffer from the accuracy issue because of the changing environmental conditions. In order to address those issues, our company developed an AI-assisted body temperature screening system to solve these problems by making use of our home-grown technology. In terms of our product and technology strengths, and we leverage our 10 years remote thermal sensing experience to develop this product. In the other sense, we actually know how to precisely measure the thermal characteristic of remote object. And all our products are being developed and made in Hong Kong. And we also make use of the thermal sensors and camera lens from France and Korea to ensure high product qualities. And thirdly, we also concerned about the privacy protections. So in the next slide, I will show you features we developed to address the privacy concern of the general public. And lastly, and the most importantly, is the detection accuracy. Our company also developed our own new black body temperature calibrator to constantly and continuously calibrate the product itself in order to achieve high detection accuracy. So in this slide, you can see a compact laboratory environment. On the left-hand side, you can see our thermal detection screen. So we make use of our AI detection technology to measure the front head body temperatures. And on the right-hand side is actually visual images. you can also find that all general publics have been blurred, except for those who show the high temperature and fever syndrome. So in this sense, we can generally protect the privacy concern of the public going across our system. So in our system, it consists of three parts. First, the camera sensor, and second is actually a user interface for the operator, and finally is the dual temperature back body. So with this back body calibrator, it provides continuous absolute reference for our system to calibrate itself in order to achieve accuracy up to plus or minus 0.2 degree level. And also with our detection model for only detecting the temperature at the front head, it can prevent any false alarm caused by the non-human object. And most importantly, our product can provide a very effective solution in the sense that it can scream over 100 people per minute, and in each scream, it can detect the temperature simultaneously of 20 to 40% at the same time. So like other systems, we also provide a set of system features like video recording and also visual and audio alert to support the daily operation use. And we have three different models based on the different facilities, size and floor plan and installation scenario. We provide the best product for our customer to satisfy their needs. And in terms of the application scenario, our product is especially doing well for the area with high people traffic, including immigration port, airport, shopping mall, etc. And to sum up, we have 10 years of thermal non-distance sensing experience. Our product is 100% being developed and made in Hong Kong, and we also provide high detection accuracy. And we provide a privacy protection to the general public. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you all can stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tao. Our next speaker is Nigawa Utility. Mr. Arthur Lam will share with us their sustainable immunized building module. I'll pass the time to you, Mr. Lam.
Thank you very much. My name is Arthur, and I'm here to represent Negawatt. So Negawatt, we help building to do their digitization for the buildings and customer journey as well. So what is the current challenges? So COVID-19 has definitely changed how people interact with each other and also with the environment. People are concerned about where they go, especially malls and office buildings. So landlords and operators, they do have to look at or invest into newer technologies. For example, great visual recognized thermal imaging cameras, or they have robotics to reduce human contacts. They might also invest into sanitization methods to keep places and also indoor environmental clean. But the current challenges is for building operators, what do all these technology means to the entire operation? Because right now, retail is being hit very heavily, and they don't have the same budget to run the buildings normally, okay? So they have lack of people, lack of solutions. What do they need? Okay, they're not going to hire additional manpower to look at just data given from this new solution. So they need to find a better way to consolidate all this information and make their efficiency operation that can happen. So what we do is the concept is actually very simple. Just like a smartphone, the operating system can actually download different applications to make the phone utilization goes up, and also add the functions of the phones. Connect to the internet and connect to the world. For a building, what about an OS for a building? So Negawatt came out with a building operating system that's designed to collect different kind of information to integrate with the different solutions that you invested, and also we look at optimization for you. So what are the building information that we look at? We can collect equipments like chiller plant, lift, elevator, escalator, all these heavy-duty equipment that you use day-to-day in your building. Different IoT solutions that we can help you integrate. For example, robotics, IoT devices, indoor for environmental quality sensors. All this information should be all centralized. And also second layer of data that we collect is human data, because right now, buildings are still being maintained by people for this moment. So there are a lot of information and events that's driven by operation maintenance, soft services, for example, your security, your maintenance, your cleaning services. All that is changing how people manage their buildings all the time. And from that, we can actually integrate all this information and will help to visualize all this impact. And with the data modeling, we can start helping people and operators to predict what's going to happen, and in return, hopefully, we can increase efficiency by making the right decisions. At the same time, so we're trying to actually increase tenant satisfaction. Unisystem can actually save you energy efficiency, lower operating costs, and hopefully, well, we can start increasing your occupancy rate, property value, and leasing value for building operators. So why Negawatt? So after launching in Hong Kong for about 2 years now, we have deployed our system over 70 buildings, focusing on commercial real estate and shopping malls, covering 30 million square feet. And we have signed contracts that we're going to integrate and help buildings to do their digitization journey over 270 buildings by end of this year. We work with multiple assets companies such as Sun Hung Kai, the tallest building in Hong Kong ICC using a system, and also their retail real estate buildings to improve their indoor air quality, to improve the energy and equipment efficiency, to help their operators how to integrate with newer solutions. So we've also worked with other companies in Hong Kong developers who actually have a very big presence in the commercial real estate. And what we do is just some basic features of our platform is I've highlighted. For example, of DCM allows you to actually collect and integrate any kind of IoT devices, so people can just use one platform to look at different solutions together. You have IBM Immunized Building Manager. We can actually add different IoT devices to detect indoor environmental quality, and then we can optimize your airside performance to help you make sure that you can have optimized your health and safety in terms of your air quality inside your buildings. And we have CAM, that how can you ensure right now with unpredictable foot traffic and restricted foot traffic, how do you save energy while performing and delivering the same indoor environmental comfort for our customers? In general, we save about 10 to 20% on your AC costs for buildings. And an operation task manager is, people change their standard every day due to COVID-19. Your frontline workers don't know what to do. They need to remember what's going to happen and what they need to do on a daily basis. Our app digitize the frontline work, and then we actually help them record and also make sure that they are capable to do what they're supposed to do during this new environment. So ICM is a helicopter view on giving building status, what's going on with multiple assets instead of going through different buildings. So business model, we charge about $400 to $4,000 a month, depends on your need and also the modules that you want, and also per person we charge about US $10 a month. So no heavy investment costs will help you digitize your building operation under COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. Our next speaker is from OT System Limited. I would like to pass the time to Mr. Calvin Wong to share with us their rapid deployment pandemic guard solutions. I'll pass the time to you, Mr. Wong.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Calvin, and my company, OT Systems, we are a homegrown Hong Kong Science Park enterprise. And since 2004, we have been supplying different kind of surveillance technology to the market, to Hong Kong, to Southeast Asia, and to Europe. And now what I'm going to introduce is the Rapid Deployment Pandemic Guard Solutions. And basically, it's a fever screening and body temperature detection solution. We are not the only body temperature detection solution in the market, but let me cut it short into the uniqueness. Since we are the first company in Hong Kong to convert fixed surveillance into high mobility surveillance, we make use of the same concept to make body temperature detection a high mobility device, together with the self-developed AI human recognition function that the system only recognize human head and detect the forehead temperature to get rid of a false alarm. Maybe you have come across that, at the office lobby, that the system may detect a cup of hot coffee and trigger the alarm. We get rid of this kind of situation. And also our algorithm can detect multiple person at the same time. So concurrently, numerous of persons walking past the system, instantly the body temperature can be detected. Apart from that, our management platform offer superb convenience to user. So once abnormal temperature is detected, an automatic snapshot will be triggered that the system will leave a snapshot of the person with abnormal temperature, entry time and date, and also there is a push notification function that push SMS message as well as email to the operator who can be alerted when a person with abnormal body temperature walk by and take immediate action. It can be used in lobby area, like this is the Hong Kong Science Park lobby that already deploy our system in many buildings, lobby of the buildings. And this, you see the UI, the user interface, that the body temperature of multiple person is detected. We control the accuracy to below 0.3 degrees Celsius to offer high accuracy. And also the platform that we designed actually offer all kind of information, including the video record, including the snapshot of the person who walked by with abnormal temperature, all the entry time and date information can be shown in the management platform. Another solution, we call it pandemic guard terminal, which is a stand, which is a tablet-like device that can detect the forehead temperature of people entering some control premises one by one. Together with the facial recognition function, it can act as a access control device. And also we put together a touch screen that you can enter your personal details, that we have different kind of QR code and a barcode scanner that can scan your staff card and ID card to retrieve the personal information. So in case there are some people with COVID-19 syndrome, that the government or the like restaurant or office management office can trace back persons who entering the area. Our system have been widely deployed in commercial buildings, office entrance, training center, and also it's suitable for meeting. We have already sold quite a large number of systems to Thailand that you can see from the picture. There are some office entrance, commercial building entrance, factory buildings, etc. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. So next, I would like to introduce Mr. Ronald Ching from Reborn Technology to tell us more about their 5G body temperature monitoring robot. Please, Mr. Ronald Ching.
Thank you so much. Our company is called Reborn Technology Limited, and I'm Ronald Ching. And our company has a value proposition is technization, which is we have a lot of core technologies like robotics, 5G, AI, cloud, and also big data. And we integrate the technology into a ecosystem so that we're able to be more productive and also sustainable for the better human being for a prosperity cycle. And we are Hong Kong homegrown technology by Reborn, and we do our own research and development in our company, and which is all development will be 5G network compatible. And here is a series of the smart robots for the epidemic prevention for this coronavirus crisis. And from the smaller ones, the right-hand side, we have a fast fever scanner, which is a very small and portable fever scanning devices, which can deploy in, which is affordable for restaurant or a lot of places. And but this is can I mean the customer can you can ask your customer to be self-disciplined to do the body fever scanning before entering the places or the restaurant. And then we have along the crisis, the period of crisis, we also develop different types of different version of the smart robot for fever scanning, such as a PEP 3000 standalone version. And this is with a system that we can enhance the system by the AI face recognition system. Can I go back? And also we alongside with the fever scanning the robot, and also we have the robotic enhanced inside, which is we can have agility in the deployment, which we can do the smart fever scanning and also the robot patrolling for the shopping mall and in the school or the facility, so that we also integrate the a UPS system, which has the robot has a large battery inside, so that it can operate keep operating for almost at least 10 hours. So we always recharge it overnight or replace the battery directly. And also we because PEP 3000, it is a passive prevention, but we also would like to do an active action to tackle the crisis. Is we build a robot to kill the virus. So we also developed the UV light disinfection robot. We call it Unicorn. It's just like a Gundam, and we have a robotic element added inside this robot, so that we can emit the UV light to kill the virus, and also we can transform this robot to have different shape in order to have a better coverage of the UV disinfection area, especially for the ceiling. And also when we decide, we consider the safety, so that we also added the 360 degree camera, when the operator can have clearly there's no people, and then to start the the UV disinfection process. Last but not least, and we also we do care about the health of the citizen, and in also in shopping mall the building, nowadays people using a lot of spray to kill the virus, and we do develop a product. It's called the 5G indoor air quality robot to monitor the air quality and keep safe together. Thank you so much. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Ching. Now I'd like to pass the time to our last speaker for this section, Mr. Jesse Xiang from SenseTime Group. You'd like to share with us your smart AI epidemic prevention solutions. I'll pass the time to you.
Thank you. Sawadee-ka, everyone. It's very nice to meeting you here. I haven't been to Thailand for a long time, so I call it new normal. How could we keep safe under this new normal era? I wanted to introduce an AI-enabled thermal scanning solutions to you. I'm Jesse Xiang from SenseTime Hong Kong. Let me give you a short briefing about the SenseTime. SenseTime
It's a Hong Kong-based startup company from 5 years ago. Nowadays, we become the largest unicorn of the world focusing on AI, especially focusing on intelligence vision. We have served more than 1,100 plus top-tier customers all over the world. For example, Qualcomm in America, Honda from Japan, and LG Group from South Korea, and the Suvarnabhumi International Airport from Thailand. We are well known by that. We're gathering a lot of talents. We have the largest team of AI researchers and engineers, include more than 200 plus AI PhDs or postdocs working together. Okay, as did very well. Both Thailand and Hong Kong did very well in the past half year about the epidemic prevention. So we are focusing on the resumption of the work and production safely. We all know that Thailand's economy relies heavily on the tourism, right? But we should start from the domestic tourism and the retail industry, and maybe we generate the internal spending first before the international tourists back. So we should to restore public confidence in hygiene and safety. That's important. We all know that there are challenges for the business. Everywhere we should take temperature, all walks of life, right? So it not only requires huge manpower, but also it puts frontline staff at a risk because due to the physical contact. To minimize the risk I mentioned before and minimize the huge manpower, that means cost, right? We launched this AI-enabled all-in-one thermal scanning solutions. There are 4 core functions I should highlight today. The first one is contactless temperature measurement. And the second one is it can give an AI alert when it finds individuals not wearing a mask. You know, wearing a mask is necessary. And third one, it's very easily to be integrated into contact tracing APP. And the third one, because we are the leading company of AI, especially the facial recognition, so we can show the attendance for the registered employee very well. Maybe you ask there are many solutions, maybe my friends just introduced before. So why sense under E-mini? Because AI. I think the best answer is AI. We use AI technology to track the forehead part of a face very fast within half second, and we can find out the highest temperature point, over 10,000 points. And then we can screen the temperature from a distance up to 1.2 meters. And the accuracy is very good without the help of black body. There's an advertisement. In the past 3 years ago, I showed my technology in Thailand, and the Deputy Prime Minister, I think it's had a good experience. I wanted to show more typical things in Asia. We had launched this technology. For example, in Hong Kong, it is used in the restaurants, schools, and office buildings, including more than 10 departments of Hong Kong government. And in Singapore, it helping SMEs, shopping malls, and hospitals. And we launched it in the International Airport and Royal Palace in Malaysia. Apart from this single door access control and temperature solution, we have another named the Sense Nebula M solutions for the large scale screen. This small box, right? So it pairs with cameras and the black body. It can be used in the large scale screens. So yes, if you are the end users, or if you are the distributors or resellers, please feel free to contact us. Trust SenseTime, because it's time to make sense. Kapun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Xiang. So that's the end of our speaker's presentation, and we will now go for the Q&A section. Let's our speaker get ready. Yeah. So I've got the first questions to OT system. Our audience would like to know how the capacity of your device, because they'd like to know now they see some shopping malls in Thailand are using some similar detection terminal, but it takes time for the audience to queue up. So they would like to know the capacity and how much will it cost, and is it on a subscription basis?
Thank you. I think the question is about concurrently how many persons can be detected at the same time.
Yes.
And our algorithm and the AI can detect up to 10 persons at the same time. So yeah, that's the maximum number, 10
Thank
persons.
you.
Yes.
So I got one question for Inside Robotics. The audience would like to know, can you share some tips on detecting the COVID-19? For example, for different usage, like small office or shopping malls or hospitals, what are their considerations?
So I think it depends on the human traffic densities. For example, like the shopping mall, our system is actually the best suited this kind of scenario because it can simultaneously measure 20 to 40 people at the same time. But if we're talking about offices, it really depends on like it is a big office environment or maybe a small office entrance. So if it is a small, so I think the product from, for example, sense time will be better. So it really depends on the scenario. So it's not like we are having product competing with each other. So it really and solely depends on the scenario the customer needed.
Thank you. So I've got one more question for Sense Time. The audience would like to know how to apply your product and solution in Thailand, and they also like to know, compare with 2003 during the SARS epidemic, how have the body temperature screening technology improved? I know you mentioned the AI is the key, so can you tell us more about that?
Yes. The first question that we have staff based in Bangkok. So please scan the QR code and send me an email. I will link our local staff to maybe have a conference with you. Okay. The second question, because in 2003, right, the SARS time, there's no AI. The deep learning technology launched after 2011, and the sense time established in 5 years ago. So today we can use AI actively to do the facial recognition and embed it into the thermal screen solutions. So that's the different.
Thank you. So I have one last question for Reborn. The audience would like to know the mobile robots you mentioned with the UV lights technology, because there will be exposure for human beings. So they would like to know the UV light, the safety level.
For the UV robot, we suggest that when you do the operation, you cannot expose the UVC to the human being. So please make sure that when you use our robot, you need to make sure there's no human being. That's why we enhance the security or the safety level by using the 360 degree camera, so that you ensure there's no human being, so that you can use the UV to clean the room to kill the bacteria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm afraid that we have to move on to our next section. So if you have any more questions for our companies, please type in the Q&A box, or please fill the survey after the meeting. Then we will follow up on your request. So thank you very much for our speakers for this panel. Thank you. So in fact, we can see from our speakers' presentation, we see that things have been changing rapidly in the past 6 months. But there is a saying that every crisis brings change, and change also brings technology. That's why we see the new ideas, products, and solutions by our companies. So it's time to come to our last section. Our last section is about monitor. I think monitoring the virus is just as important as prevention and detection. So in this section, you can stay on top of the latest COVID-19 development with the smart monitoring system and home quarantine support from our 5 speakers. So our company will again share the insights for about 5 minutes, then we'll have a combined Q&A section. So I would like to invite our first speaker for this panel, Mr. Arthur Chen, Companion Technology Limited, to tell us more about the Stay Home Safe app. So over to you, Mr. Chen.
Hello everyone, we are very happy to share our experience on how to deploy a home quarantine solution for the citizen in Hong Kong. And our solution is the first home quarantine app published in Apple Store in the world, and it did not check the whereabouts of the citizen, but the relative position of the users. And we highlight the privacy protection and the security of every citizen. So it is the first app to do such location positioning and home quarantine in the world. And for the other country, the solution based on GPS and the other hardware may not work because the GPS may not be accurate in a city-wide level for all the homes. So we have to track different signals and GPS and different sensors in the app and in the hardware to do geofencing and the locationing. And the other pain points of the app is the privacy. How to know that user stay at home without knowing its absolute position is challenging. And we are able to do that by recording the initial position of the users and the changes of the signals. And the other is that we have more than 100,000 users, concurrent users in this platform, and how to filter the potential home quarantine users and who violates the regulation is challenging. And the workflow have to be simple because it's deployed to every citizens, and all the citizens is able to activate the app themselves without any knowledge of the hardware, and it deployed to all different kind of iOS, Android, and iOS during the period. And this app stopped the monitoring once the quarantine period stopped. We are able to deploy in different hardware and software challenge. At the airport, our platform and application need registration. It is held by the staff in the airport, and we use the wristband to track the geofencing of the users. The wristband is created by our partner SkyTech, and once the user registered, what they have to do at home is to activate the app. By clicking one button, the position and the signals of the users is recorded, and during the whole period, we are able to know that the changes of the signals, whether the user is staying at home or they are moving to other places. And we are going to deploy to track multiple locations of the citizens for the government, so that we will record multiple different signal points, and the detection is easy to deploy. During the period, the user only need to see a very simple UI, and all the records and the changes will be submitted to the cloud. Once we got suspected cases, the user will see an alert and scan the wristband, and so that the government can know that who has left their home. And all the signals is submitted to the cloud, and we have more than 60 million records now, and we are able to filter out different potential cases and monitor all the users without violating the privacy, so that we only track the changes of different cell phone and wristband and the signals to filter out who is still staying at home. And based on our experience, we are able to detect the location in different menus too. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. So I would like to pass the time to our next speaker, Imali, Mr. Gabriel Chen, to share with us their verifiable digital immunity passport. So I would like to pass the time to you, Mr. Chen.
Thank you. Sawadee krap, Hom Chi Gabriel, Yindi Ter Dai Ruchak, and I will continue now in English. So a little bit about us. We are building an application called Immunidex, and it's a future of verifiable health. So a little bit about us. Our core competency is in privacy, blockchain, and DLT data exchange. What that means is there are certain ways to build blockchain applications, and there's specific ways to build it such that it is legal and compliant. Therefore, our clients are in the regulated industries such as government, financial, and education sectors. So an overview of what the problem we're solving is that in peacetime, there would be less reason to carry or fake your health data, but in a pandemic situation, that increases a lot. So we're trying to solve the problem of health records of sorts that such that they are verifiable. That means that you can be certain to a high degree that they're reliable, and you can also verify the information. And finally, it is privacy preserving. So since we don't have so much time, we'll go over our two main products. The first one is basically a digital and reliable and verifiable format of this form. So in the current form, people make declarations about their health status, and the only thing that prevents them from filling false data is the possible repercussions due to the law. So besides that, we also are concerned about three other things, such as why the data is collected, how to protect the data that is collected, and how long the data is kept. So with the current paper form format, those answers to those questions are quite unclear. But in our situation, we have the verifiable credential system so that we can track these declarations and hold people accountable while also preserving their privacy. So in order to build this platform, we are looking to collaborate with government and regulators and other stakeholders around the world, such as yourself. And we are very excited to build this kind of verifiable credential network. Now, the second type of product that we have is a more fleshed out version of this. So instead of just a declaration, this is also integrates with healthcare providers and other members of the community. So this system is called a user-centric verifiable credential network. And the key part is that it is an interoperable system that can interoperably operate with other verifiable credential systems around the world, because it follows the standards such as W3C and DID, etc. Very importantly, it is GDPR compliant. And GDPR by design, which means that it is designed to adhere to the highest standards of privacy. It has customizable governance framework. What this means is that we are not the ones to define how healthy one is. Everyone has different policy, and that we can fit into any of the policies from government level to to county level, to organizational level, these different, we can accommodate these different cases. And finally, the most important thing is that we are available now. This is live. We are not a proof of concept, we're not a prototype. This is production ready. So once again, we're very excited to work with stakeholders and regulators from around the world, and we would love to collaborate with you to bring your country and the world back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Now, I would like to pass the time to Mr. Paul Cho of ESRI China Hong Kong Limited to introduce the COVID-19 interactive dashboard. Over to you, Mr. Cho.
Thank you, Shelley. Sawadee ka, good afternoon, our friends in Thailand. Okay. The Hong Kong COVID-19, actually China Hong Kong has joined the Smart City Consortium as a volunteer to co-develop the COVID-19 dashboard together with the Hong Kong Government Development Bureau and Lands Department to effectively communicate the latest information of the epidemic to the Hong Kong public. The technology behind this COVID-19 dashboard is ArcGIS dashboard provided by Esri. This dashboard technology can let the public easily to get the latest and real-time information of the epidemic through the charts and infographic as well as the map in the dashboard. It is also easily configurable and no programming is required, so that we can build this dashboard in few days' time. Riding on the world-class geospatial cloud ArcGIS Online, a scalable infrastructure, this dashboard can sustain a search in real time in a short period of time. Actually, the whole world is using this technology to monitor the COVID-19. So far, there has been 65 countries who has built 130 plus COVID-19 dashboard using this technology. Let me go through some special features of this dashboard. First of all, this dashboard is essentially a map-sensitive dashboard. That means when you click on the list, any item on the list, it will automatically zoom to the location of that case. Also, sometimes when there are too many cases and too many points to show on the map, we can use the clustering presentation to give a better visualization to the public so that they can view the distribution of the COVID-19 cases. Also, when times go on, there are lots of COVID-19 cases accumulated. We can also use this temporal animation function to see how the epidemic evolves. Last but not least, apart from map, we can also use many different kinds of charts to show the trend of the epidemics to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cho. So next will be Phonetics. Mr. Danny Young will share with us their quick testing kit for COVID-19. Pass the time to you, Danny.
Great. Thank you. Nice to meet everyone here today. So just a quick background about Phonetics-wise. Phonetics was started about 2015. Our core business is actually in genetic testing, DNA testing. So to date, we have tested over 400,000 people. We've also been very fortunate to have very strong strategic investors on board, basically from the last 4 or 5 years. So to date, we've also raised 50 million USD in the last 5 years, which makes us the most well-funded DNA testing or digital health company in the region. So our operations currently span 10 countries globally. We have 150 employees globally as well. So as for COVID-19, we started work on COVID-19 testing solutions about 2 to 3 months ago, starting here in Hong Kong. And 2 months ago, we've also gotten a lot of international fame and PR because we are actually testing the Premier League in the UK. So they've contracted us to test about 40,000 players, media, and coaches in terms of resuming their season. So that contract is roughly about 50 million USD. In Hong Kong wise, we're working with AIA, Prudential, airports, globally, Cathay Pacific. So we're working with a lot of government and large corporates in terms of offering COVID-19 testing solutions. So what's the key differentiation in terms of what we're able to provide? I think the key differentiation is that we're able to provide a full end-to-end solution, including a real-time PCR lab test, the whole logistics, the barcode, the labeling, the results interpretation, digital results, as well as the digital health passport. So we've also, a few weeks ago, as part of the Premier League partnership, we introduced the world's first digital health passport that actually allows individuals, players, etc., to go into the stadium to verify when they've actually gotten tested and what aspect of the stadium they can actually have access to safely. So certainly in Hong Kong as well, we've now ramped up our capacity for testing to be able to test over 20,000 on a daily basis. So certainly with that amount of testing for COVID-19, there's a lot of automation that's necessary, a lot of expertise and know-how that's necessary. So certainly I think for Thailand-wise, very strategically, a good potential partnership can be in place to have our team help scale COVID-19 testing. And then certainly I think for us, we're looking at it also from a non-profit perspective. So that's why when we've set out to do the COVID-19 test here in Hong Kong and in the UK, the all-in cost is roughly about 100 USD. So that's considerably much lower than, let's say, the private hospitals or the private labs, etc. Because we're looking at this from a much more medium to long-term perspective in terms of how we can actually help organizations, companies, governments, airports, airlines return back to normalcy and back to travel. So certainly I think we have a lot of expertise within our company, and certainly we look forward to potential partnerships and expanding into Thailand.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. So it's the time for our last speaker of this section. I would like to introduce Mr. Jimmy Chong of Sky Tech Creations. So Mr. Chong will share with us the e-wristband and the geofencing technology. So I'll pass the time to you, Mr. Chong.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. During the COVID-19, we provide a tracker for the quarantine people. We developed the quarantine tracker in a very short period. The most challenge is we have to provide anti-takeoff system for the wristband to guarantee the quarantine people cannot take it off during the schedule of the quarantine. And our tracker have the very long battery life and waterproof and data encryption and the geofencing signal. We need to provide a really precise signal string to ensure the range of the area for the people. So in the system, we work with the Cyberdigit, the companion together for the software to provide a very protect of the privacy. The system will provide to protect the privacy issue, and okay, and sorry. And for the waterproof and the technology of the tracker is sorry. Okay. Okay. Based on the same technology, we are creating another solution for the with the geofencing to doing the contact tracing concept. By using the same technology, we can use the same application to detect the signal, the geofence signal, to for the user who contacted to the participant.
with the tourists to contact the president during their travel. And then we can identify the low risk or high risk president who is doing the different position in the city. So on the hardware, we can provide the same already proved in the market that we are using for the existing quarantine tracker on the same hardware design. The idea is we can use the app to detect the tracker nearby you and recording by the app and saving the data in a really secure security method to the cloud server. Once, if one of the traveler have the problem for COVID-19, and we can trace back from the database and find who contacts with this patient and find out the potentially people to minimize the resources for doing some quarantine or some application to solve to minimize the number of people. If the president install the app, and you can see who were contact these people in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And also, we CyberDigic provide really high protecting data encryption technology to make sure every data will not leakage to others. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. So that's the final presentation of this section. So we will have a Q&A section. Let me see the question I got from the audience. The first question is for Imali. Dr. Lawrence Ma has joined us in this Q&A section. So our audience would like to know, are there any prevention measures to avoid any individuals from cheating on the compliance to the quarantine orders? So is there any measures you would recommend?
Okay, obviously people have come up with our track and trace solutions, but I think the key is that for that to really work, I mean, you have to have the identity issue problem resolving that. Are you really tracking this person data, or you're tracking his family data? And that is provided by, say, blockchain and cryptography, and to have the provenance. And I think with this and with the trusted framework, I think this will prevent people from trying to cheat.
Thank you. So I got another question for Danny. Our audience would like to know, the rapid testing kits have proven useful for this pandemic. So how do you see these rapid testing kits can be applied to other disease or other usage in the future?
Well, I think it's clear to point out that there's realistically two types of different tests that is in the market basically to do COVID-19 testing, right? So one of is the real-time PCR laboratory test. So this is detecting current infections in the viral load, right? And the other one aspect is the rapid test. But when you think about rapid test, there's point-of-care rapid tests for current infections as well as rapid tests for looking at antibody testing to see if you actually had a current infection previously. So certainly I think rapid testing has already been utilized in a lot of other infectious diseases and etc. already, but certainly I think if you look at the global demand, I think we still have a lot of work to actually need to do rapid testing for current infections, because I think right now one of the challenges is it still takes too long to get tested, because I think even from the real-time PCR test, you're taking anywhere about 4 to 6 hours. As we continue to develop the technology, I think if we can shorten this to, let's say, 1 to 2 hours, then certainly this can be a breakthrough. There are a lot of companies working on this currently, and so certainly I think there's still a lot of potential in the future that these technology get into the market, especially for travel use.
Thank you, Danny. So I got one question for Arthur. You touched on a little bit on the privacy issues just now. So our audience would like to know, how do you walk the fine line between monitoring the home quarantines and people's concern over the invention of privacy?
So for location tracking, privacy is very critical. We treat privacy more important than anyone else. So from the data source, we did not track any absolute whereabouts of the user. We just record the changes. So even for us, we cannot reverse engineer where is the user. I think it's very critical to protect the privacy. And for the user ID, we remove all the identity of a user. We only track the necessary, like the app ID, which has no user information. So even a hacker or a valid user from the back end cannot tell where is the user and who is the user. I think it is the highest level. And that's why we are able to be the first quarantine app released in Apple Store. And even Apple headquarters support us to release this app.
Thank you. So I got one question for S3 China. Our audience would like to know, apart from monitoring of COVID-19, how can the mapping technology be applied on other business?
Oh, actually, mapping technology has been, and GIS technology has been applied in Thailand for many cases. And for example, the electricity company will use GIS to manage their distribution network. Even the beer company will use GIS in Thailand to help them to plan the distribution of the beer. And one last case, which is more famous, is the rescue of the the members of the junior football team in a cave in 2018. Actually, our company in Thailand has helped the government to do a 3D map of the cave to help the rescuer to rescue the football team.
Thank you. So that's almost the time. Actually, after hearing all the speeches from our speakers, we do feel that digital defense plays a really key role in fight against the COVID-19 in Hong Kong. So I'm glad to hear the sharing of Hong Kong companies. So thank you very much for our speakers joining us today. I hope our audience can find some useful products and services which can fit your COVID-19 needs. So I would like to also take this chance to invite you to join the HKTDC Bangkok Communities 9 group. We will share the latest information and offer by HKTDC in Hong Kong and Thailand in the group. So please scan the code as shown on the screen to stay connected with us. So as mentioned, despite we don't have time to answer all the questions, if you would like to know more about any specific companies, please fill out a short survey after this Zoom meeting. The link will automatically pop up when the meetings end. In the form, you will find our company's profiles from our participants today, and you can find the options to arrange a one-on-one in-depth meeting between you and the Hong Kong companies. So we will follow up on your request after the meeting. So this marks the end of our virtual meeting today. May I thank you for all companies joining us today. I wish you a good day. Let's stay safe and stay connected. Bye-bye.